Hey everybody, Z Garcia here. Today I'm taking a look at the latest game in the Kingdomino line of games. This is Kingdomino Origins. I am a fan of this series of games. I like Kingdomino, I like Queendomino quite a bit, and I really like the two-player one, the roll and write game. So I was curious about this new one. Of course, it's got a new theme, sort of a prehistory theme. And one thing I was very surprised about is that there's actually different levels of play within this box. So it's not quite 3 different games, but 3 ways to play the same game. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that now. I'll show you sort of the different variants that come in the box, how the game works out. I'm going to see you on the other side with some final thoughts. The game has 3 levels of play, so I'm going to show you through the 3 different levels. You have Discovery mode, then Totem mode, and then Tribe mode. So we're going to start with the basic one, and then I'll add on to that, okay? So the basic is very simple. We have our 4 tiles here. We're going to be playing with 4 players, but I'm going to show you only the area for my own. I am the blue player, as you can see there. And so a player who has a tile from the top to the bottom is going to take it, and they'll add it to their own display, and then they choose an upcoming tile. Now these, we always add 4 new ones, and they are organized numerically and then flipped face up. And so that player is going to take one of those, and then they will claim an upcoming tile. Then the pink player will do the same thing. They'll claim an upcoming one, they'll take that. Then it's me, I'm going to take this and add it to my display. It has to be next to, one of the 2 has to be next to something that matches it, like dominoes. But this starting tile is wild, and so anything can go next to it. So I could do that, and then I could claim an upcoming one, so I might claim this one, and then the green player will take this, they'll add that to their display and take the leftover one. Then we flip over 4 new ones, we organize those numerically, like so, and then they get flipped over, and we start again from the top. So green was last this last round, but now they'll be first. So they'll take that, they'll add it on and move over and so on. This continues until we've gone through all of the tiles, and every player has built at most a 5x5 grid here in front of them. That's their land. And then you score all the land. And the scoring in this one is pretty simple. You score the group. So I might do something like that. You would score the group. If this is a group at the end, there's nothing else like it around it. I'll score the size of the spaces, the squares, 1, 2, 3, times the flames within it. So 3 times 2 for 6 points for me for this area here. There's also the volcanoes. And when you play a volcano, it's going to spew out some lava, and you are going to add those fires to a location somewhere. You have to see how many openings there are on the volcano, in this case 2 openings, and you'll take that tile. On the back it tells you how far away from the volcano it can spew. It's 2. Most of them are 1s, but they can go farther, so you can put that 3 spaces away. And so if it spews out of here, as soon as I add this tile to my display, it can go diagonally even, 1, 2. So I might put that there, and now this area is worth 3 times 4 for 12 points. Or maybe I'll put it here. I'll go 1, 2, and if it was a 1, it could go, 1, 2, 3, and it could go here. But it's only a 2, so I'll put that right there. And that's it. That's basically the way that one works. So now let's step it up to the second level. Into the second level, the totem mode, we're going to be using these totems right here, and we have these wooden pieces, okay? So the way it works is very similarly to the other way, but as you are taking these tiles, you'll put the matching symbol on them. They have a little symbol here in the corner, and so that the fishy comes onto those, and the spearhead comes onto those. They'll tell you what they get. This one over here, for example, has a mammoth on it. And as you collect these, as soon as you have the majority of something, say I have the most fish, you'll take the matching tile here. And if anybody else later on at some point has more than you, then they'll take that away from you. If you put fire that's spewed out from a volcano somewhere where there is a tile, like in my previous example, then that thing goes away and you have to put the fire there, okay? So at the end of the game, you'll score the same thing, areas, and you're going to score any of these you have, the points printed, plus 1 point per wooden bit. So 1 point there, 1 point there, 4 points from this. And that's second level. Third level, we get rid of these. So they are no longer in play, but we keep the wooden pieces, and we are now going to be utilizing that board up there. During this mode of play, you can, on your turn, once you've taken a tile and placed it, then you may spend some of these wooden resources to bring on one of these tribes people onto your display. Any of these 4 face up, you can take with any combination of 2 different things. So I could spend the fish and this mammoth and take any one of those I want to. So I might take this one, for example, and I might put it there. It can go somewhere that's empty, so no flames, not a volcano, somewhere like that. And then it's going to score at the end of the game based on whatever it says it scores. So for example, this one right here gets me 1 point per flame around where it is. So if I manage to put it there, then I am going to get, assuming this is final, I am going to get 1, 2, 3 points for that tile there. And some of the other ones will score based on mammoths around it, based on spears, based on all of those things. Fish. This one here is 2 points for any of the wooden resources around it. And then there are some that are simply going to be victory points. And those you score based on themselves. So this is a 1 victory point. If it's by itself, it's a single victory point. But if it's next to any other of the characters with those symbols, then you treat this the same way you would a, let's go ahead and do that. It's not a legal placement, but let's pretend it is for now. So if I did this, then I am going to score, this is 1 point, this is 1 point. So the total is 2 times the size of the group. So 2 times 2, that's 4 points for these right here. And there is a scoring pad that you'll be using for this, utilizing just the first section here for the simplest mode, then adding a couple of lines after that, and then all of these down here are for those the tribe tiles if you choose to play in the tribe mode. And that's basically it. Most points, once you've resolved all this, is going to be the winner of the game. And there's also a couple of bonuses down here that are optional, and you can choose to use those if you would like. That's the way the game works. You can, again, choose whichever mode you want to play. I think even the most complicated one with the tribes tiles is not that difficult. But it's a nice way to sort of level up your play experience and eventually choose which one you want, or just go with the one you like based on who you're playing with. So that's going to do it. Let's go ahead and go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. As I already said in the intro, I do like Kingdomino, but I think Kingdomino in the series of games is the one that has the lowest replayability. It is the one that gets the samey the fastest out of all of them. And I think this edition of the game manages to circumvent that with all the different ways that you can play and just sort of everything that's going on in it, while still not being as complex of a game as Kingdomino is. So let's go ahead and break it down, all right? I'm going to tell you what I think of each of the parts of the game here, starting from the top with theme. The prehistory setting is really cool, and I like that theme or that setting quite a bit. So I like what's going on. I like the volcano idea. I like the drafting mechanism, which has been in all of these games, is a solid core. It still works really well. So I have no issues here with the theme. It's cartoony, it's light, it works for me. The aesthetics are also very good. I think the insert is a little tight. The tiles that are meant to be played right out of the insert, to get all of them back into that spot where they're meant to fit is a struggle. I normally leave a couple of them out of that space and they just float around inside the box. But the insert is fine. There's a spot for everything. It works out well. And I like the look of it all. I think aesthetically it looks nice. I like the wooden bits quite a bit. Those are well made. They're vibrant. They're easy to handle. So aesthetically, I have no problem with the game. And I think this is a nice box size. It's a little bit bigger than Kingdomino, but not quite as large as Queendomino. It's a standard size. It's a good size for the box. Replay value. is high because of, again, all those different modes that you can choose to play with. You can introduce this to someone who is not much of a gamer and go with that, first mode. It's basically there's a tiny bit more going on than in Kingdomino itself with the volcanoes. That's it. That's the main difference, really. And if that's all this game was, I don't think I'd necessarily recommend it. Or I might if you were unfamiliar with Kingdomino. I would say, yeah, you get this one. Forget Kingdomino, right? It's everything else. It's what comes on top of that with the set collection, with the wooden tokens. And then on top of that, my favorite mode is the most advanced one with the tribes. All those things are going to keep you coming back to the table. And again, you can sort of adjust which way you want to play based on who you're playing with, based on how much, mental gymnastics you want to do. Not that this is a particularly demanding game in that category. But I do think the replayability is good. The game arc. I like that there's a few different things to consider here. And again, I'm mostly focusing on that upper level of play because I think it's the most dynamic and interesting. But I think the game arc is interesting because at some point you will shift in the game. Besides everything else you are doing, you're going to shift from collecting the wooden tokens and spending them for the tribes tiles to no longer spending them because they're now making you victory points just sitting there, right? If I have that character that scores on mammoths being around them, I don't want to spend those mammoths. They need to stay there so I can cash them in and score at the end of the game. And I like that dynamic. I like that everything with the tile laying and the making big groups is happening, and then there's all this other stuff happening on top of that. I want these characters next to each other. I want this one surrounded by a bunch of flames, what have you, right? So the game arc is very interesting. The game's short, it's punchy, but it stays interesting, and you're thinking about different things at the beginning, during the middle, and at the very end. Ease of play, quite high, and again, adaptable, right? That's the big takeaway here. So I found the game to be well presented. Of course, familiarity with Kingdomino and Queendomino and all of that is going to help, but you don't need it. I think you'll get it. You can jump right into this one, work your way up the different levels, and have a great time with it. And then lastly, tactics, luck, and strategy. I kind of touched on it already in Game Arc, but I do like that there are different things to think about, and I do like that depending on which mode you are playing, things are a little bit different. What's worth what's worth it to keep, what's worth giving up, what should you pursue in the game. All those things are going to be slightly different based on the tiles that come up, which different tribes tiles you purchase, and where you place them. All of that is going to give you a fun little 25-minute, 30-minute puzzle to contend with. I think the player aid, the scoring pad, the player scoring pad is also very well done. And you can use the top just for the intro mode, add a couple of lines for the totem mode, and then use the whole thing, of course, for that final tribe mode. So I enjoy it. I think it's a good balance of lots of tactics and, of course, reacting to the tiles that come up and which one you think you'd like. So there you go. For me, like I said, Kingdomino, I think gets stale fairly quickly. It's a great introductory game. It's fun, quick, enjoyable, but it does sort of get samey. I think Queendomino is a better game, but there's a lot going on in Queendomino. It is a thinkier game. If you're looking for something that threads the needle between those two, I think Kingdomino Origins here is a wonderful package. It would be my suggestion or my recommendation as a jumping on point if you haven't played any of these games. Kingdomino Origins is has better odds of giving you a mode you like, of you finding something within it that you're going to enjoy. So for me, this is going to get an 8.5 out of 10. That means it's a seal of excellence. And it's just an excellent little game. I certainly recommend it if you enjoy tile laying, if you enjoy set collection, puzzliness. Then this is one you'll be able to play with a lot of different folks. It should be fairly easy to bring this one to the table. So there you go. That's Kingdomino Origins, everybody. Thanks very much for watching the video, and I will see you on the next one.